All right, these are some off-the-cuff remarks about nitpickers. You got people that make comments about your video that make no sense, and other people, blah 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 comments like, "Oh, I've learned so much from it." That you get those, and then you get the nitpickers. And if you click on their picture or whatever, their icon, it'll take you to a website where basically you'll get, "Look what I bought. I bought this knob for a command radio," and then they'll spout what numbers it works with, what numbers it doesn't work with, okay? And that's what they do. They sit there and they research stuff and then they do a video. That's not what my video is about. Now, when I did the command radio one, I showed you this thing going on. I showed you get yourself some ice maker tubing, make yourself up a knob with the ice maker tubing. That's what my video was about. It wasn't, and I also told you this is a waste of money, anywhere from $38 to $69. Where other people, "Oh, this was hard to find. I had to pay $69 for it. Without this, the radio isn't complete." Okay, that's the difference between them and me. And then other things where they'll nitpick. I did this video, and I showed the inside of 50s and 60s radios, transistor radios. And the whole idea of that was to show you how the amount of parts in it slowly decreased. And as they figure out that they have certain markets where they can sell the radio, and the market's got so many strong stations, they can take an IF can out, they can take the RF amp out of the front end, they can make the radio smaller, they can make a smaller ferrite rod, okay? That was the idea of the video. Well, you know, nitpickers come in, "Oh, that coil to the right, that's the RF coil, that other transformer that you were talking about, that's an interstage." I freaking know that stuff. Sometimes when you're on camera, you can't recall the word interstate or whatever the hell it is, okay? I've repaired those radios. I know all about those transformers. But what I was saying was the early ones have two transformers, the interstate and then the interstage, and then the output transformer. And then they did away with the output transformer. They did away with the interstage one, okay? That's the point of the video, but they don't catch that. They're so smart. It's, "Oh, that's not a Hall sensor. That's a thermistor." Wrong again. I got tired of it, so I mute these people. I delete them. I mute them. They're gone. Okay? I give a guy one or two shots, and then he realizes I go look at his videos real quick. It's nothing anybody's going to watch. And he's looking. Yeah, he might have more people than me, but I was up to 700 people and 700 subscribers and almost 1,000 videos. Okay? This is my second run through it, and I'm getting more views because I'm zeroing in more on stuff that maybe somebody else might want to learn or understand or hear about. You know, some of my videos were pretty obscure. You know, 15 videos on rebuilding a command radio, and people want that condensed into one video. They're never going to work on a command radio, but they want it condensed. They get like a high when they watch a video of you taking a radio apart. Shango has a big following of people that watch him fix stuff. And in one of the videos, he was mentioning that maybe it's a bad idea because when he shows people how to fix stuff, they actually think they're learning something and they know something. And then they get a radio and they screw it all up. And then they bother him and he takes it, he opens it up, and then he has to fix it for them. So he was kind of saying something. I'm like, yeah, I understand what you did. You're showing people how to fix the radio and you have a lot of knowledge, but they're never going to get at that level. And then one video I watched, a guy, he said right away, he says, people ask me, you know, how can they learn how to fix radios and phonograph stuff? He says, it takes 50 years. That's not really true. But to get at his level, what he was saying you turn the radio on just by hearing it, he knows what's wrong. Okay, that's sort of true on some radios. Okay, but in other words, he was sort of bragging too. But in other words, watching his videos, you're not really going to learn. You're going to know you got to take voltage readings. You're going to have the SAMs. You're going to have to know when the voltage is good enough for that section and not go around in circles trying to get it to match the SAMs. You know, certain circuits, like in the audio section, if you don't have nothing at all and the voltages are within, say, 3 volts, don't worry about it. You're going to get something if they're a little low or a little high. But that's what goes wrong when people watch a video. They don't really learn the minimums that you have to have in the circuit to know that the problem isn't here. It might be over here. And that's the thing where it takes a lot of experience. It takes a lot of mistakes to get to that level. But the nitpickers drive me freaking crazy. You know, I'll take a video and it's never been done before. It's been discussed in the conferences wrong. And then I went and did it. And I figured out how to do it. And this guy, he had to show me that he was smarter than me. You know, I basically said, put the pieces from the headphones on a magnet, and I leave them there until I'm ready to put them back in. Well, he goes, you don't have to leave them there. That's not true. You leave it on there on the magnet because that acts as a keeper. And then when you go to put it in, you take it off the magnet. I was going to argue with the guy. I said, you know what? Mute him. Just mute the guy. No pissing contests anymore. You did that the first batch of videos. Okay? And they argue from a certain side, then they backpedal. It's a waste of my time. Okay? That video is there. Nobody ever showed you how to recharge the magnets in headphones. They talked about it. They were all wrong. Yeah, your rap turns the wire around the earphone, and then you hook it up to a battery, and it'll charge it. It'll redo the magnets. No, it won't. It just won't. You take some rare earth magnets and stick them inside out. That doesn't work either. I went through all these. Okay, and what I found, you have to take it apart, you take the magnet pieces out, and you recharge them on a magnet, and then when you're ready, you put it back in. And the magnet, I showed you the diaphragm sticking to it. But see, these are people that they read about magnetism and they'll be shooting from the hip, all this stupid. I don't want to hear it. Okay, I gave them a method to recharge the magnets in the Brandy's headphone that works. Okay, yeah, we can nitpick. It doesn't have to be on the magnet that long, but it acts as a keeper until you're ready to put it in. So when you put that magnet into the headphones, the inside of the headphones, the metal pieces, they're the keeper. So when you take that magnet off and put it in that headphone and tighten those spikes, that's the keeper. So now the headphone's good for, say, 20 years. Okay? I learned this. When I magnetize motors, the field magnet, you had to put a keeper in there. If you didn't put a keeper in there like right away, an hour later, the poles start degrading. The regions start flipping. You know, some people, depends what kind of material is used for the magnet. And I did a video where I said an old motor, you got to be careful. If you take that armature out of that motor and you're rebuilding an old, maybe a tape recorder, and you take that armature out of that magnetic field and you leave it out for a while, when you put it back in, that tape recorder won't have enough torque, and you'll be saying, I got everything oiled. Everything works freely, but the motor can't seem to turn it. You'll think you got a voltage drop. You lost your magnetism on the motor. Okay? I'm talking to you from experience. Okay? I'm not a nitpicker. You know, well, that coil down on the left-hand side, that was really... That's not what the video was about. The video was showing people what's inside, what it's going to look like, and then show them slowly. I had several radios, slowly how the radio loses its IF cans, and they dummy it up. They cheapen it up. They go from a dial cord with a pointer down to a round knob that's hooked directly to the capacitor, because they find out that people are going to tune to one station, the ball game, or in case young kids in the 60s, a rock station, and it's going to stay there until the batteries go down. Then they're going to put a new battery in there, okay? And then they're going to drop it and break it. It's going to go to a repair store. It's not going to be worth fixing. It's going to go in the garbage, and they're going to get another one. And the one they get is going to be cheaper than the last one, okay? I went through all this stuff. My dad had a TV repair shop, and he would get transistor radios in, and the first wave, everybody wanted them fixed. And then the second wave, even if they broke the battery connector, and my father could put a new one in there for $2. Nah, I'll put the $2 to a new one. Nah. Meanwhile, my father has to open it up, diagnose what's wrong with the radio, call them up, they come in, and they take the radio back. They stick it in a closet somewhere. And then 50 years later or more, it ends up on eBay. Okay, that's the way the real world works, you know. But I hate nitpickers, you know. And, you know, I'll say something about this knob, and then they'll say, well, that's really not for that. That's for the remote crank area. No, this is a coveted knob. that goes for, there's one for, I think $65 now on eBay. It went from 69 to 65, but there's more shipping on it now. But anyway, this is a coveted knob. I did a video on this, showed you how to use ice maker tubing instead, make your own freaking knob. My videos have two phases in them. You know, I don't just, look me, I bought this knob, I'm so lucky, ha ha ha, you don't have one, ha 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 ha. No, that's what some of the other videos are, man. Look what I just bought. The guys that bring home another car. And look what I got, 200 bucks, and it runs. Oh man, this is made in 1967. It's got bucket seat and they're all torn up. And in and out, it's got so many horsepower. Thing's a piece of shit. And then looking over past the guy, over his shoulder, you see a field full of cars, and he's never going to get to them. He gets a high every time he buys a new car. He does a video every time he brings one of these home, but he never works on them. Okay, I caught on to this. I hung with these people. The only projects they finished were the ones I worked on. Okay, and that's what I learned, and I can't go back and fix that. I have hours, thousands of hours where I helped other people. It was just a big waste of time. Okay, I learned this the hard way. Okay, but like I said, you got these nitpickers, and they're the ones that have actually a website or a channel on a website. They have a channel on YouTube, and yeah, I do these freaking videos off the cuff. I get these parts out here, and I just start talking. And then when you go back, you see you misspeak. You did a misspeak in one spot, and your plurals and your singulars. They worry about all that. It's all about the content. You know, guy shows you something working, and he tells you can get it at a certain place for $5. And watch out for the one that's $6. It doesn't work as good. That's content. Where other people, they just show you, look what I bought. Dun, 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 I bought this. You know, or they get a great shape radio. And then they're going to fix it. And then you go looking for the video, and that was 2 years ago, and they never fixed it. Okay, I've done it. And the reason I was looking at that radio was I was hoping to get some information. And then I had to do it the hard way. And then I bought the radio, took it totally apart, rebuilt it, put it all together, got it working. Okay, I think that's it. All right, that's it.